From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
Yes, it is Ticats Today, a special edition of Ticats Today. As you know, the season not going on, but throughout the offseason, we'll be checking in with you and just making sure that you're getting all the Ticats news that you need. We'll be bringing interviews, alumni, all that fun stuff. So make sure to be subscribing to the Ticats Audio Network and check us out wherever you get your podcast. Happy New Year. Yes, this is our first show of 2022. Yes, this is our first show since the Grey Cup. And I'm going to be honest, we're moving on. It is a new season. We're not going to dive into the 2021 Grey Cup. I'm sure it'll come up at points. But, you know, we're moving on from the 2021 season and we are focused on 2022 and lots of news to get to. New front office was announced over the holidays and we'll hear from Coach O and we'll get his thoughts on his new front office and his new title as President of Football Operations in addition to head coach. We'll hear from Ed Hervey, the new assistant GM and senior advisor to the President of Football Operations. We'll hear a little bit from Dane Evans, who re-signed a 2-year deal to stay with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Had a chance to catch up with him earlier this week, and you can hear our full conversation coming up here, right here on the Ticats Audio Network, So wherever you found this show, you can hear our full conversation, but I'll play just a little bit of it for you. He had a great answer about what he's come to love about Hamilton, and I want to make sure you hear that. And we'll preview a brand new episode of Ealey and Hitch. Yes, they are back for a brand new season as well. Their first episode dropped this week, and they had a great kind of little conversation on Don Sutherland, who passed away. And, of course, Don Sutherland, a Ticats legend, both as a player and later as a coach, a CFL legend, a CFL Hall of Famer, one of the greats for sure. And, a coach with the Ticats in the 90s. And Ealey and Hitch had really nice things to say about him. And on that point, make sure to be tuned into the Ticats Audio Network later on, or maybe right now, depending on when you're listening to this. Go search the Ticats Audio Network because there was a great roundtable discussion on the life and passing of Don Sutherland. As mentioned, some news and notes to get to. We'll let you know that the Hamilton Tiger Cats have signed Dane Evans, as mentioned. They've also signed offensive lineman Chris Van Zeyl to a 2-year extension. So Chris Van Zeyl coming back for a 15th and 16th, a 14th and 15th. We'll ask him. He has been around for a long time and still has a lot to give in the game, a 3-time CFL All-Star. So we'll hear a little bit of my conversation with him as well coming up here on the show. But let's start with kind of the biggest news, but definitely up there when it comes to the Ticats offseason so far. And that is the new front office. New front office, some new faces, some familiar faces. But the big news kind of is that Orlondo Steinauer, head coach, is now the President of Football Operations. Yes, Orlondo Steinauer getting kind of promoted, getting promoted. So obviously a lot more responsibilities for him, but he'll remain as head coach. So very exciting, and we're going to hear from Coach in just a second. Drew Alamang has been promoted to Assistant General Manager and Director of Canadian Scouting. Ed Hervey has joined the organization as Assistant GM and Senior Advisor to the President of Football Operations. Spencer Zimmerman has rejoined the organization as Assistant General Manager and Director of Player Personnel. And Rich Massaro is back as Assistant Director of Player Personnel and Football Operations. So lots of titles being thrown around, and here to discuss that, we bring in the President of Football Operations and head coach, Orlondo Steinauer. And right off the top, Coach, I got to ask, because just right there, I said it. Coach O, head of football ops O, President O, what do I call you now? I don't even know what to call you.
Yeah, I think you should just forget the titles. I'm a person. Just call me O. That's
Okay.
what the majority of people call me. So just call me O. We'll go from there.
Perfect. You can call me Louie. That doesn't change either. So I appreciate
All
that.
right.
All right. Let's talk about the week you've had. Obviously, you made your first signing in your new role, and it was Dane Evans. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier this week, but let's just kind of recap it. Getting Dane Evans signed, getting that move done. Why was it a priority for you?
Well, I think like I said earlier, Louis, is that the football team's heartbeat is always going to be at the quarterback. You have to have somebody there who can spin it. And like I said, we've been fortunate to be blessed at that position. And that's not a luxury that, we're going to likely be able to have. And so, Dane it's a football team, right? And Dane is just one of many signings that we hope to get done. I mean, we have lots of contract offers out there. At the end of the day, you can't make anybody sign anything. And we have a lot of great football players that some of them are interested in testing the market, and some of them are going to be back. And so you can only control what you can control. And, we got people working diligently and hard to get stuff done. And I'm just excited to get this one past us and move on.
Well said, and we'll get to some of those people who are working diligently and hard to get these signings done in your front office. But I want to start with you personally. What does it mean to you to get the trust of caretaker Scott Mitchell, Matt Affinick? You've done such a great job as head coach, but now to get this, title, like you said, you try not to focus on titles, but what does it mean to get the trust of the guys upstairs for this new football of operations, or president of football operations role? Excuse me.
Again, I'm not a title guy. I'm really not. Is there some added responsibility? 100%. There more things fall on my shoulder, 100%. But nothing's going to change. I'm still still going to come to work. I'm going to do what's best for the organization and just continue to be myself. And the added responsibilities are just what they are. I didn't come to work every day hoping for a call or an opportunity like this. Just faithful with the job that you have, and you move forward. And so trust is established over time. And yeah, it does mean something that your superiors or people that you're working with see something in you that they want represented in the organization that they own. And I don't take that lightly at all. But at the same time, it's the title is just a title. It's about people. And that's why I've surrounded myself with the best people that I can. And unfortunately, when you are surrounded with good people, sometimes good people leave and move on, and they're going other directions to soar. And then it's, your job to fill it in with other great people.
And let's talk about it. A couple of returning faces, a couple of new faces, and one returning new face. But let's start with Drew Alamang, Assistant General Manager and Director of Canadian Scouting. Obviously, you look across the Ticats roster, you look across the CFL, moving on to other teams. I mean, his kind of record speaks for itself. Why was it important to bring Drew Alamang, continue to keep Drew Alamang in the fold here in your front office?
Well, Drew, first and foremost, is just a great person. And he is a Ticat, and he wanted to be here, and that's what you want. You want people that want to be here and understand our environment and our culture, and want to continue to add value to value. And Drew's really a no-brainer. He's been awesome. He's got added responsibilities, and I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for us that we're able to keep him around, and we'll see. We'll see how long we can keep great people around. But the idea isn't to hold them hostage. It's to help them grow and soar and reach their goals. At the same time, we have our own goals, and we want to become the best we can be. And he's an integral part of that.
Ed Hervey, a name that is obviously very familiar. Been in the CFL. I was looking back, 20 years now. Across 20 years, he's been involved with the CFL, whether it's playing or in the front office. His title, Assistant General Manager, and Assistant to the President of Football Operations. And again, all these titles available online, ticats.ca. But Ed Hervey, obviously, again, like I said, no stranger to the CFL. When did the discussion start about bringing him in? Obviously not getting into specifics, but and how excited are you to have him in the front office?
Well, when you can add experience, somebody who's played the game, somebody who started out as a scout and worked his way up, somebody who's a champion as a player and as an executive, it's not often that those types of people are even available. Right. Most of the time that they are employed and soaring in their own way. And so anytime that there's availability like that, it's something to look into. Again, Ed, in our talks together and whatnot, and with our other, executives, it became apparent that he was very interested in wanting to be a part of the organization. And again, he's another quality individual that's going to be able to add value. And just excited for, his role as somebody that I can bounce ideas off of. He's been a GM of 2 different organizations, and he's, again, excited to be part of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And that's going to be invaluable for myself personally, and then for, his colleagues also, and the rest of the building moving forward.
Spencer Zimmerman, a name that will be familiar to Ticats fans. He's been here a couple of times. You got him back. Again, someone who knows this game really well, someone who knows this organization. What about Spencer kind of drew you to him once again?
Well, I knew Spencer from before when I was coordinating here, and I kind of watched him grow, and I watched his work ethic and his aptitude. And also his appetite just for growth and wanting to get better. And, he's also seen it done from a different organization's point of view. And again, we're talking about a quality person. And here's another guy that was available. You can only go after people that are available. And then do they want to be a part? And does it fit not just them professionally, but, I think it's got to fit each individual personally, right? There's other people involved in these type of decisions, be it their wives or girlfriends or whatever it may be. There's a lot more that goes into it than just hiring a person for this title, and we got to check this box. There's a lot of things that want to go into it, and there's a certain way that we like to do things. And Spencer is again, he's going to be an invaluable person because he's just a wealth of knowledge, and he's going to be a valuable resource for me also. And just excited that, it's just because people are available doesn't always mean that you're going to be able to land them. And that goes for executives or players. And so to be able to have these guys on our side and working collaboratively, and they have to agree to want to work together also. They're all capable general managers, and one day will be. And so, in Ed's case, he's already done that. These are low ego guys that are highly competitive, and they're really team players. So to be able to, add Spencer and Ed and Drew, it's exciting times for Hamilton.
And last but not least, again, you talked about getting to see someone grow. Rich Massaro has got to be someone kind of in that category, someone you've grown, somebody you've seen, just develop his skills in this game in the front office. What about him, again, made you excited to bring him back?
Well, I remember when I first walked into the office when I returned in 2018, I was kind of heading to where my new office was. And one of the first persons that stopped me was Rich Massaro. And he said, I'd heard a lot about you. I'm excited to work with you. And whenever you get some free time, would just love to sit down and chat. And that's just the kind of person that Rich is. And, he's been part of the organization for quite a while. He's grinded. He's definitely earned more responsibility, and he will have that. Again, he's just another guy that's on the rise and is a valuable part to our organization. And there's another guy that we're just real fortunate to be able to retain and keep in our organization.
And Coach, obviously there was some sad news earlier this week with the news, former CFL legend Don Sutherland, who was a coach here. I know you guys had a little bit of crossover, but obviously a Ticat legend who passed away earlier this week. Just your thoughts and your memories of him.
It's actually a little bit emotional for me because he's a guy that believed in me. And he's part of the reason that I'm here, even though I didn't coach with him. I was just a guy in training camp when he was the head coach, and he saw something in me, something about Don, was able to identify talent. Don, that sounds funny. He's always been sudsy to me. He saw something in me and knew, and he moved me right away from behind Eric Carter and said, go to the other corner. You're going to play for a long time in this league. And I was just a kid trying to make the football team. And there wasn't any doubt in his mind. And he taught me the football game up here. And, I learned a lot from all the other coaches after. But here's a guy that believed in Orlondo and took me under his wing and introduced me to Hamilton. and helped me become a better player and demanded a lot of me. And to this day, obviously not now, but up until the point of his passing, we would still call and text, and it was awesome to see him in the building. He's going to be missed. We've been getting texts from that 99 Grey Cup team. People have been filling my inbox up and just talking about what a great man and how he's going to be missed, and how, they've been reaching out to Nancy and the daughters and that sort of thing. And it's just so obvious the impact that he's had on so many people's lives, and not just the players across the league, but also other coaches. Definitely love Sudsy and going to miss him.
It's a beautiful tribute, and we'll leave it there. Coach, I know you're a busy man, especially lately, so thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Louie.
My thanks to Coach Orlondo Steinauer. There, I did it again. My thanks to O for joining me. Very busy man with his expanded role as president of football operations, in addition to head coach. Just a reminder, Ed Hervey will be joining us in just a few moments, and you can catch O, Coach O, President O, whatever you want to call him. But you can catch him on a very special broadcast that we're putting together on the Ticats audio network that we've put together here. It's hosted by Rob Hitchcock. It's Orlondo Steinauer, Joe Monford, Dennis McPhee, and Mike Philbrick. And it's looking back on the life, legacy, and passing of Don Sutherland. So go check that out right here on the Ticats audio network. Of course, that subject, Don Sutherland, Sudsy, came up on Ealey and Hitch, and I'll play just a little bit here for you. Again, brand new season of Ealey and Hitch dropped this week, and here they are talking about their beloved coach, Don Sutherland, a.k.a. Sudsy.
You're going to talk about this more in depth with Coach O and Deeker and Philly about Sudsy. I just want to pay a quick respect to Suds. We love him. I can't wait to listen to you guys talk more about the behind-the-scenes stuff. But, man, we've lost a couple good ones in Ronnie and now Sudsy. And I just want to pay my respects here and certainly look forward to listening to you guys kind of get into more detail about what Sudsy meant to you and just some of the fun stories, I'm sure, as well.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get, I heard about the news the other day, and, Deeker said it best in our chat. He said it's like losing a dad twice, to us, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I know he was our head coach for a couple of years, but, I spent, 5 years with him in the defensive coordinator room and got to be really, really close with him. And we lost a great man, a friend, a mentor. He was behind the scenes. You look at Coach Southern as a smash mouth, hard nosed, football coach and football player, because he was a hell of a player as well. But, behind the scenes, he was a soft, gentle giant. And we're going to talk a lot about him tomorrow.
That is Rob Hitchcock and Mike Ealey on a brand new episode of Ealey and Hitch. You can catch that on the Ticats audio network. And while you were there, you heard they were talking about Sudsy, and you heard Hitch mention that, a special round table on the life, legacy, and passing of Don Sutherland, now available on the Ticats audio network, hosted by Hitch. He'll be joined by Orlondo Steinauer, Joe Monford, Dennis McPhee, and Mike Philbrick. Still lots to come here on the Ticats audio network. Ticats Today, special edition, first episode of 2022. In just a moment, we'll be joined by Ed Hervey, the new assistant GM and senior advisor to the president of football operations. We'll be joined by Chuck Ealey, who was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame this past week. And we'll hear from Chris Van Zeyl and Dane Evans, two of the Ticats who have been re-signed so far this off-season. Right now, very pleased to be joined by Ed Hervey. His resume speaks for itself in terms of what he has accomplished in this league. Is now joining the Hamilton Tiger Cats after a couple of seasons away from the game, but before that, spending more than 20 years in the CFL as a player, as a scout in the front office, and we're very pleased to have him here in Hamilton. And like I said, his record, his resume speaks for itself, having most recently served as the general manager of the BC Lions, Before the Lions, he was the VP of Football Ops and GM in Edmonton, where he won the 103rd Grey Cup. And again, very pleased to be joined by Ed now. And Ed, congratulations on this new role with the Ticats. Not to get into too many specifics, but just how did this opportunity come about to join Hamilton?
Well, obviously, I've known Orlondo for a lot of years. I've played against him on the field. But we never really got a chance to really talk and get to know each other off the field as much. And it wasn't until recent, like last couple of years, where we were on committees together, where we had an opportunity to speak and talk and seeing each other out, where we got a chance to know each other. And I think in this last year, when I was out and just, taking some time off, I would always check in with him and see how he was doing and just talk to him and just, basically see how he's doing. Because I've always liked him and I've always admired him. And he's one of the good guys in our league and one that you want to see do well. And end of the season came, received a text from him that he wanted to talk. And, it just kind of picked up steam from there. And then I had a chance to speak with Scott as well. And here we are, just excited to be here.
You had been kind of involved with the game basically for 20 years straight from when you came. Well, I mean, the CFL game, the Canadian game, we should say. So from when you came to the league in 99, right up until 2019, the CFL had been your life. What did that time away from the game either teach you about yourself or, is there anything you kind of learned in that time away from the game?
Yeah, well, I learned one thing, that I need to take time off sometimes. Just honestly, it was good. The time off for me was a chance to refresh, a chance to reflect on the last 20 years, and the good and some of the things that I can improve on, and learning a little bit about the way of handling situations moving forward. Right? Again, it's all about making certain that when you're involved in the game, you appreciate it. And when you're away from it, you recognize there are certain things that we may have taken for granted at times, but above everything else, you recognize how much I appreciate the game, and just excited to be back in it and looking forward to, better days and who knows, another 20 years down of CFL experience.
Now, taking a look at the team you're joining, the Hamilton Ticats, obviously the expectations are high. They're coming off back-to-back Grey Cups. Do you feel the excitement, pressure? Is there a certain feeling you have joining an organization where you have to believe going into 2022 expectations are raised that, it's not just get to the Grey Cup, it's win the game now?
Hey, in my 20 years of being in the CFL, and I was with a particular team there, those expectations were always there. So that the pressure is there, and I'm used to that. Coming into Hamilton in this situation is even more of an exciting challenge because of the fact that, yes, the team has been to back-to-back Grey Cups, and the ultimate goal is to get over that hump. And, I'd like to believe that myself, along with the other people that Orlondo has put together, we have the experience, the know-how, and the drive to help assist in getting this team to that elusive championship that has been. What's crazy is my first year in the CFL was when Hamilton won its championship. So I'd love to see Hamilton hoist the Grey Cup and be a part of that.
A lot of people watching this and listening to this are hoping for the same thing. There, obviously the CFL being what it is in terms of the teams. There's a lot of familiar faces everywhere. So, who on this Ticats team is a familiar face to you that's might have probably already reached out and you're excited to get working with again?
Well, I mean, again, I've worked with a lot of people. I know Drew. When I first started, when the conversation started to happen, Drew reached out and we talked a little bit. And I used to see Drew on the road when I was doing Canadian scouting in my early years of scouting. So he was one, and then Spencer and I had a chance to talk. I know Coach Gibson, and those guys. And again, there's more guys on the staff like Mark Washington that eventually we'll have a chance to talk as well. It's good to go in a situation where you know people and you're familiar with people, because the reality of the situation is that the sooner we're able to get comfortable, the more fun we can have. And again, but not losing sight of the ultimate goal, which is to win and do things and help this team get over that hump.
All right. So Ed, like you had mentioned, you are associated with a very specific team. But what is your message to Hamilton Tiger Cats fans right now? Your first chance, your first opportunity to shout them out directly. What do you want to say to Ticats fans out there?
I just want to say, number one, I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to the opportunity to go out here and continue with the success that you've always had. Being a part of such a great organization, working with great people. And I've always admired the fans. They've always been really friendly and hostile, all in the same. But the passion that they've shown has always been great. And I'm looking forward to immersing myself in this community and getting to know the people here. And again, just delivering, right? And that's really what our roles are, is to go out there and deliver and give the fans what they expect. They want, good ball players. They want professional atmosphere and attitudes from the players, and knowing that we're giving our 100%, and above everything else, knowing that our commitment is to winning a championship, and that's really what it is. And anyone who knows me knows that the commitment to that is always there. You don't ever have to question that, regardless of what colors we all wear. We all are in this for the one thing, and that's to work with great people and win championships in the process. And I believe that we have the group to do that, and I'm excited for that.
It's well said. He is the new assistant general manager and senior advisor to the president of football operations. He's Ed Hervey. And Ed, I'm looking forward to talking with you to the point of you almost being annoyed with me, but we'll find that line throughout the season, okay?
I don't get annoyed with people.
All right, I'm holding you to that. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Yeah, thank you.
That is the new assistant GM and senior advisor to the president of football operations, Ed Hervey. And just rounding out the football ops staff, Drew Alamang is back as assistant GM and director of Canadian Scouting. Spencer Zimmerman rejoins the team as assistant GM, manager, and director of player personnel. At Hervey, we just talked to assistant GM and senior advisor to the president of football ops, and Rich Macero, assistant director of player personnel and football operations. All right, it's been an exciting week. It's been a week of mixed feelings, of course, with the passing of Don Southern, but we did get some great news for a former Ticat this week, as Chuck Ealey was selected to the College Football Hall of Fame, finally. His number 16 is one of 4 numbers that Toledo has retired. He led the Toledo Rockets to a 35-0 record over 3 seasons with 5,000 yards, 42 touchdowns. He won the Tangerine Bowl in each of those 3 seasons, and he was named the game's MVP each time in those bowl games. And very pleased now to be joined by the legend himself, Chuck Ealey. And Chuck, congratulations. As mentioned, a well overdue, a well-deserved honor. Just take us through kind of your reaction to finally getting the call.
Well, I mean, I think I got a call from the athletic director from the university. I knew he and a few other people were working with the foundation people down in the States. When he called, I kind of felt like this was the moment that they were going to do it. And it was kind of a mixed emotional kind of thing, because it had gone so long and so many things that, as I told people before, it's like if you, every year since they didn't do it from the first time they had a chance, my face and information came up every year about getting into the hall. And now it's going to stop because, once you go into the black hole, you're in there and that's it. I mean, I don't mean it's a black hole, it's a dark good hole to be into. So that's what I felt in the avenue of the emotions.
You mentioned it, kind of mixed emotions there, because did you think, was there going to be a point where, you just kind of shrugged your shoulders and say, I don't know what it is, but what else do I have to do here?
No. I mean, obviously everything it was done. It was done. Yeah, it was done a long time ago, and it was sat there on the platform for them to make a decision about. So my issue was not to be. I was saying not happy about the way they approached it, but it wasn't something that was bringing me down every year. I mean, all I could say is that there's the information, your call, and if you don't see that, then I don't know who else can get in. So that's it.
I mean, the information, the stats speak for themselves. 35-0, 3 straight bowl wins, 3 straight bowl MVPs, the longest winning streak for a quarterback with your Toledo Rockets there. I mean, When you think back, now having this honor, have you kind of been looking back at those years a little bit more fondly of just, what you were able to accomplish in those years with the Toledo Rockets?
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't look back. I mean, there's always the numbers that come up, or you go to a game and people bring up a specific game or an event that happens. Not every one of the games you could remember. I have a thing in my home where it has a gentleman who sort of willed it to me after he passed away, where he had all the games we won, the scores on a big chart, and the Tangerine Bowl. And I look at that and I can remember some of the games and some of the things that happened in those games. But for the most part, it was more of the players and the guys that you played with that you get to go back and see and chat with, and we have fun like brothers and stuff now, just laughing about the things we did in college.
To that point, I'm sure a lot of guys have been calling you. What have those conversations been like to reconnect with either, just college football people or former teammates who have been reaching out to congratulate you?
Well, it's been their congratulations and my thank you to them for us being together in the time that we learned. And like I said, many of us became a lot closer, like brothers, even after the fact. Some of my friends, and some of them have passed away, but for the most part, a lot of them that are around, and we come back to a game during the summer, after this COVID thing, we hope to get together again, but it was a lot of work that we did when we got together and had fun and go to dinner and chat about the old times and things that went by.
And speaking of that, we know we saw you a lot during Grey Cup week, which was awesome. Obviously the result isn't what Ticats fans or, the city of Hamilton was hoping for, but just what was that experience like for you to be surrounded by former teammates, to get to be around all these, familiar faces at Grey Cup week, and how excited are you to do it again in 2023?
Well, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think, there's a special relationship you have with guys when you basically played through the trenches and things that you've gone through, good or bad, that you think. I just talked to Tony Gabriel yesterday, and he talked, and we had a joke. If you know Tony, you don't stop talking for a while. So, but that was a good treat to catch up with him and some of the other things that happened there. So that weekend was good, and seeing a lot of the players and players who played with me and players who didn't play with me.
Chuck, once again, congratulations on this tremendous honor. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and congratulations. Well deserved.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
My thanks to Chuck Ealey for joining me today, and once again, congratulations to him on his induction to the College Football Hall of Fame. Well deserved, well overdue, but great to see him finally recognized for his accomplishments with the Toledo Rockets. All right, the floodgates haven't quite opened yet when it comes to Ticats re-signings, but we did get our first two coming down this past week, and it started with Dane Evans re-signing a 2-year deal through 2023, and our full conversation available on the Ticats Audio Network and at ticats.ca, but I did want to make sure, in case you haven't heard them yet, if you haven't listened, if you haven't watched, there's this one clip here where I asked him what he loves about Hamilton. And, a lot of people come to this city and say all the right things. But Dane Evans has truly, really embraced being part of this city. And he had such a great answer here today, or earlier when I caught up with him, about what he loves about Hamilton. And I just want to play it for you. Here's Dane Evans as we spoke earlier this week.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, outside of football, I just love this town, man. I love how you can go around town and there's little pockets of different neighborhoods. You can drive to the east end or go all the way down. You know what I mean? Like, you can go anywhere. McMaster the area of McMaster is completely different than where we live over here on the east side. And it's just, you go up the mountain, you go down the mountain, everything changes. But the one thing that's the same is, like, people here, they love the Ticats. They love the town of Hamilton, regardless of the Ticats or not. They support the city. You walk around anytime you see black and gold on, and you can't go anywhere and just find that. Like this place truly is special. We're the only show in town when it comes game days, so it's going to be packed, and I just love it. I love the small town feel of that. That's all I've ever known. That
is Dane Evans, and listen to that clip and tell me this guy doesn't love being in Hamilton. Earlier in the interview, he dropped Bread Bar, he dropped Lock Street. This guy is home in Hamilton, and very excited to see him stick around for a couple more years, and hopefully a couple more years after that. Speaking of local guys and guys re-signing, nice segue, I think. We are very pleased to hear and learn that Chris Van Zeyl has re-signed with the team. He signed a 2-year extension through 2023 as well. The Fonthill, Ontario native getting set for his 14th CFL season, his third with the Ticats, and we caught up with him, and you can catch that full conversation at ticats.ca. But towards the end of the interview, I asked him if he had a message for Ticats fans, and here's what he had to say to that.
It's been a hard couple years, but like everything Hamilton is, we're just going to keep on pounding and keep on working hard. We love you guys. Thank you so much for everything you've done to keep us playing and to support us. And that Grey Cup game was, I mean, probably one of the most amazing experiences of my football career. To run into that stadium and hear the roar of that crowd, and to have you guys at our back the whole game. Wanted to thank you so much for everything. And we're going to keep working hard to get it done. And trust me, we're going to work harder this year than we did in the past. And I'm going to give everything I got to help you guys hold that Grey Cup and have that parade at the end of the year.
And that is Chris Van Zeyl, newly re-signed through the 2023 season. His message to Ticats fans, and you can catch our full convo over at ticats.ca. All right, well, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it, and thanks to everybody who stopped by on today's show. Orlondo Steinauer, Ed Hervey, Chuck Ealey, and once again, thank you to you for your support all season long last year, and we're hoping for even more support here in 2022. So thank you, and be locked in here on the Ticats Audio Network for our next episode, which will be dropping soon. And while you're here, check out the Sudsy special on the Ticats Audio Network and a brand new episode of Ealey and Pitch. For the Ticats Audio Network, I'm Louis B. Hoping you have a great day